everyone, and welcome to Artful Teaching, Joyful Learning. My name is Alana, and I help homeschoolers and school educators teach kids with confidence, ease, and a splash of creativity. Now, have you ever experienced your child or children asking you for something, begging you for something, complaining that they don't have something? Well, I certainly have experienced that. And today we're going to be talking about gratitude and the importance of teaching gratitude to even our youngest children. So I want to share with you 4 really artful, creative invitations that are going to weave in learning across the curriculum in literacy and social studies. And these are really fun, hands-on projects that make the idea of gratitude a little more concrete for our young learners. Now, why is it important to teach gratitude? So before we start into that, I just wanted to share with you that this work is all grounded inside a Reggio-inspired approach. So I'm a big believer in a Reggio-inspired approach. I believe in capitalizing on our children's 100 languages. We know that kids come to understand, they come to learn, they come to construct and build understanding of their world through many, many languages, not just paper, pencil sort of tasks. So today's 4 projects are really grounded in this Reggio-inspired approach that really uses kids' 100 languages as a means to develop understanding of their world. So why is it so important to teach gratitude? Well, there's a lot of good reasons and research-based reasons. Number 1, it feels good, right? And it's good for us. Brain science actually tells us that feeling good and having a positive outlook is good for our brains, our bodies, our spirits, our minds. And when we feel good, we do good. And the same is true for kids. Gratitude helps create a positive chain reaction, right? When we're feeling grateful and appreciative, we are likely to continue to have those positive feelings, which again creates positivity going forward. And it really helps to minimize that sort of negative perspective, which can be the root cause of a lot of worry and anxiety in our kids. So feeling positive, doing positive things often leads to more positivity in our lives. Of course, teaching gratitude and showing gratitude helps to build stronger connections, right? Deeper, stronger connections, stronger bonds with those around us. When we can show appreciation to those that we love, we're more apt to show kindness and love towards others. Of course, reciprocity, right? So most of the time when we experience kindness from others and we're grateful for those acts of kindness, we then want to go ahead and reciprocate, and children are no different. All kids have that internal drive to give and do good for others. So there's 4 little reasons for you, and a lot of these are based in research, again, brain research that shows the importance of gratitude and positivity in our lives. Now, a lot of what our kids are experiencing at this moment in time can sort of feel like a bummer, right? COVID-19 at the time of this recording has really cast sort of this dark cloud over a lot of our kids' lives in terms of, wanting to experience things that all kids love, like birthday parties and play dates and all those fun things. I know I have a 7-year-old who missed out on her birthday, and it was like the world had come to an end. But if we can teach kids to sort of look for that little silver lining in those dark clouds, it builds our kids' resilience, and it just helps us to sort of teach them that importance of feeling fulfilled through acts of gratitude, and then again, through sharing kindness with the world. So I have a few really favorite books of mine, 4 that I'm going to share with you today, actually 5. And these books are great for children between the ages of, I'm going to say, like 3 and 7 or 8. Even older children love read alouds. But these, I brought a few of these out from our own home library. So Mo Willems, a classic kids author. All kids love Mo Willems. He's just full of fun and wittiness, and he's really funny. And he wrote a book called The Thank You Book. Now, I love starting invitations with a book, with a read aloud, because it helps to start to sort of plant seeds in our kids' brains, right? It helps to really tap into their prior knowledge, which research shows us is the important first step to really building new understanding. So if we can tap into kids' prior knowledge about gratitude and what it means to be thankful, then the learning is that much more successful. Another book that I love is called An Awesome Book of Thanks, and this is by Dallas Clayton. So he's got a really interesting way of illustrating. And finally, what I want to share with you today is, of course, one of my very favorite authors, Todd Parr's The Thankful Book. And so one of our invitations actually has to do with Todd Parr's very artistic approach to illustrating his kids' books. And there's a couple of others that are wonderful, wonderful pieces of children's literature that are sure to inspire thoughts and attitudes of gratitude in your children. So without further ado, I want to share with you projects, 4 hands-on artful projects to teach gratitude to our young children. Now, our young kids are concrete learners, right? They learn through doing, they learn through experience. And often if we can bring real live artifacts into our kids' learning, it helps to really solidify and reinforce those connections in their brain, right? So if they can actually touch things like these artifacts, you know, share with them in a special, like maybe magic bag or something, or a hat, bring a few little artifacts out and see what kinds of connections they can make to gratitude. Why might they be grateful for this thing? Now they're going to surprise you with their answers. Okay, they're going to surprise you with all kinds of ideas. But this is where you might start to sort of talk about, what does it mean to be grateful? And why might you be grateful for something like an apple? Or what does this make you think of, this fork? Okay, so some of their answers might be, you know, they love to gather around with their family and eat dinner together. They're grateful to have family dinners, right? They're grateful to have healthy food in their homes, right? Maybe an envelope symbolizes the fact that they're grateful to be able to write letters to people that they love, right? Or send love notes to people that they love. A pine cone might symbolize, you know, the fact that they can get out in nature on nature walks and explore outside. Or you can think of any number of artifacts from your home and just gather up a few and see what kinds of connections your kids make. Another fun idea is to gather up some old family photographs, right? So these might, you know, jog some memories in your kids' minds about family vacations that you've been on, you know, family pets that you might have, things like that. There's all kinds of ways that we can start to talk to our kids about gratitude. So here are some family photos, again, that might start to inspire some thinking about, what does it mean to be grateful and why is it important to be grateful? So the first project I want to share is called the Gratitude Jar. So super simple activity. You can kind of lead into this with this little joy sheet here that I'm going to include in today's bundle. But you can start to ask your kids what exactly you're grateful for, and have them fill out. They're not printing yet. If they're not, that'll do just fine. Now, if we want to translate this, because in Reggio, we're always moving from language to language. If we wanted to do that into sort of like a real cool, tangible thing that we could actually even bring out maybe during family meal times or special, you know, before bedtime type thing, you can make your own gratitude jar. Now, the materials you'll need for this include a glass jar, something small, some popsicle sticks, okay, the large or the small kind, doesn't really matter. Some tissue paper. Now, if you want to practice some fine motor, you can get your kids to rip up small pieces of tissue paper, or you can cut your own. It doesn't really matter. So this is just dollar store tissue paper. Some watered down white glue, or some really sort of cheap dollar store type glue that's already, you know, not super sticky. And of course, an old paintbrush. So many of you might remember this technique when you were young, but I'm going to share here what that might look like. So you have your tissue paper here. It's not my screen here so that you can all see what I'm doing. Can you all see? Okay. So I've got my new little camera here, and I'm going to share with you what this might look like. So you'll take your tissue paper squares, and you'll take a little bit of glue, okay? And this can be a little bit messy, so if you want to add some newsprint below your work surface, then that's fine. But you can just sort of paint either the back of these pieces of tissue paper. Back in the old days, we used to use something called Mod Podge. You don't really need Mod Podge. Watered down glue is just fine. So here we go again. Add a little bit of that watered down glue and some tissue paper. And this is just like a layering technique. You continue to add layer after layer after layer after layer. Okay, so I've got my tissue paper here. Let's pretend that I've covered that entire surface up. The next thing you're going to want to do is, of course, to add your children's responses to those popsicle sticks. Okay, so what is it that they're grateful for? And record their responses on these sticks. And this becomes your little gratitude jar. Okay, so this could be even something that you add to every single day, right? What is something today that you are grateful for? And have them add that response on a popsicle stick. When they're having kind of a tough time, when they're feeling blue, have them pull one of these sticks out and remind themselves of one thing that they're grateful for in their life. Okay, so that's one idea. I'm sure many of you have seen those jars done before for many number of reasons. Of course, glitter is optional. All right, the next thing I want to show you is called the gratitude book. Now, bookmaking is something that I'm a big fan of with children because book structures are a wonderful way to encourage writing, encourage sharing of ideas. And when we have book structures to share our stories and to share our words, it becomes a really wonderful memento. So this is going to be a beautiful memento. This is called a flag book. Okay, a flag book. Now, the fun thing about a flag book is that it's a super simple structure. It's got this sort of accordion spine. And when you open it up, you see sort of these flags that open. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you can make one of these. Now, this was a book that we made around Valentine's Day, sort of the same idea, but you can easily translate this into a gratitude book. Okay, so the materials that you'll need for this book include a Sharpie, one of my favorite tools for children in the early years, a couple of sheets of cardstock, cut down to about 5.5 by 8. Okay, so I've got those here. And one other sheet of cardstock that's also 5.5 by 8. Okay, so 3 sheets of the same size. 2 of them will be the same color, and that's going to be for your cover and your back. And then you'll want to have one for the spine. Okay. Next, you're going to want your flags, and these will be cut just a little bit smaller, okay, than your cover, just a little bit smaller than your cover. And you'll have a glue stick handy, and maybe you've gone ahead and done some process art and you're ready to cut it up. Okay, so I love doing process art with kids on all kinds of materials, newspaper. You can see here, these ones are done with newspaper, just painted newspaper. You can do some watercolor, however you want. But what you'll want to do is to cut out some hearts, or help your child to cut out some hearts, because we're going to glue those to our flags. Okay. The next thing I'm going to want you to take is this I am grateful for. And these are little story starters that will help your child to brainstorm ideas to fill up inside their book. Okay. Now, finally, you'll want just some plain watercolor paper, because this is where your child's going to be representing her ideas. She's going to be sharing what she's grateful for and drawing little pictures. So if you've got pre-writers and they're just, at that, they're just representing their ideas through little pictures, that's fine. Okay. So the way that we make this book, I'm just going to clear my workspace here. So let's just stop this for a moment, and you can come and have a look and see. So I've got my sheets of cardstock. Okay, so my cover and my back. Okay, so this is shiny on one side and dull on the other. So I'll take both of those. And then with the other sheet, the contrasting color, I'm going to do something called an accordion spine. Okay, so an accordion spine, just like it sounds like, in the olden days when we used to make fans. So you'll do a fold like so, right down the middle. And then you'll do another fold back up to center. and you'll do another fold. We're going to keep doing this. Your children might need a little bit of hand over hand support there. So right now we've only got little 4 mountains and valleys, right? So now we're going to want to go back and forth again. So now we're doing sort of that zigzag mountain and valley fold. Okay, back and forth, back and forth. The more of these folds you have, the more pages of your book you'll have. Okay, so there is my little accordion fold. So what I'll want to do now is to take that, that cover, okay, and I'm going to glue this portion to the front. Okay, so here's my glue stick. I'm gluing that portion, just that front little piece here for the cover. Okay. So that's the cover. And then I'll do the same thing for the back. Okay, so I'm taking that back piece of accordion and I'll add some glue to that one little strip. Pretty simple. I've done this with children, you know, as young as like 3 with a bit of hand over hand support. It's really, really fun to capture their ideas in picture form, even at the youngest of ages. Okay, so here is the beginnings of that book. You can see now we've got that accordion spine. We've got a cover and a back. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to glue our little flags down. So what you'll want to do is to glue a flag onto each mountain, and you'll want to make sure it's the same side of the mountain. Okay, so just a little in the middle will do. Okay, and then again, just a little in the middle will do. So this flag book has room for 3 pages, for 3 flags. And then again, just a little in the middle. Okay, all right. So now you can see our flag book is starting to come together. Okay, so this is where you're going to take your little hearts, your pre-made hearts that you've already designed, right? Your process art hearts. You're going to take your children's ideas and you're going to cut out some little starters here. I am grateful for, and then you can invite them to either draw a picture on the one side and cut out that story starter on the front part. So I am grateful for, and then on the back, you can invite them to share their ideas. So I am grateful for my friends. Okay, I'm grateful for my friends. Another one here might be, I am grateful, I know she did, I am grateful for ice cream, right? I'm grateful for, oh, here it is, ice cream. Okay, so she might have that one glued onto the back of this heart. So there is your very own book of gratitude, okay? And you can design it and embellish the cover as you like, but that's basically the structure of a flag book, okay? It's an accordion spine with little flags in the center. This is totally adaptable to, of course, any number of different themes, any number of different studies. Okay, so there is our second project. All right, moving along here. Let's hang with me here, share my screen. There we go. Okay. The next project that I have to show gratitude and to teach gratitude is to create your very own We Are Thankful Todd's Parr style book. Now, if you were a classroom teacher, you might make a class book here. And if you're a family, a homeschooling family, maybe this is a thankful family book. So Todd Parr happens to have a really signature style of illustrations. His book, The Thankful Book, is full of really beautiful kid-like ideas based on what it means to be thankful for. So it really breaks it down into a tangible, concrete way of looking at gratitude. So for example, I'm thankful for colors because they make me want to paint, right? I am thankful for music because it makes me want to dance. But Todd Parr has a very signature style of illustrating, and he often does a contour outline drawing first in a bold black line. So that's where your Sharpie comes in. Okay, so the materials that you'll need for this project, whoopsies, did I not put them in here? I didn't. Okay, let's go back here. So you'll basically need a Sharpie and that joy sheet here. So the I am thankful joy sheet. Okay, so this is something that you can do again as a family or as a whole class. And if you're feeling inclined, you can even make this big into a big book. Okay, but Todd Parr, again, what you'll need here are Sharpies and just a palette of paint. Okay, and if you're not wanting to get messy, just go ahead and use washable markers or crayons. But what you'll do here is you'll invite your child to first draw, well, I guess first brainstorm, what does it mean to be thankful? What does it mean to be thankful, and what's one thing you're thankful for? And then you can have them just illustrate with that Sharpie. Now remember, we're not filling in with Sharpie, we're just adding our outline here. So I am thankful, I know my girls would say, I am thankful for our new dog. So here's his, okay, his body, his little tail, and his little feet. Okay, well, kind of looks like half dog, half sheep. That's okay, kids are forgiving. So if they are writers, you'll have them use their invented spelling here to finish the sentence. I am thankful for our dog. And then you'll invite them to go ahead with those bold, bold colors. And what's fun about Todd Parr is that he doesn't use any sort of real life colors. He goes ahead and just does it up really fun. So he might make his dog pink, right? With that big bold line, he might paint his dog pink, okay? And then for the background, you know, maybe something really fun like yellow, okay? So this would be a really fun exploration to do with even really young children, right? So all it really involves is some drawing with a Sharpie, some brainstorming, and some paints. Now those are my favorite paints. They're the Uli watercolor pods, and I just absolutely love them. We've got like 5 of them, I think, in our home. They're great, they're portable, they're vibrant, and lots of fun. All right, the final project that I want to share with you, and that goes along with that act of reciprocity, right, are to create these gratitude cards. Now, those of you that have been following along with me for a while know this really special technique with watercolor and salt, and that special kind of magic that happens when we combine those two. But one thing that you can invite your children to do is to show gratitude to somebody else by creating a special card with a little message inside of it. And so these cards are just made so lovely and beautiful when we add a little bit of jute. Okay, so this is just dollar store jute, just a natural sort of fiber, and a little twig on top. I think that's just a lovely little touch. And so the materials that you kind of need here would include your liquid watercolors if you have, or, you know, just palette style watercolor, a little bit of table salt or coarse salt, whatever you have, some scissors or a cutting board if you have, again, some small twigs that you might have found outside. Colored cardstock is really lovely to help make sort of a bit of a background. It just helps those cards really pop. So I like to layer. Of course, that's a step that, you know, if you want to take it to the next level, they just make it really, really lovely. My favorite watercolor here is Canson style, available at your local craft dealers or on Amazon for, I think, around $5 a pack. And then some masking tape, because the masking tape helps to really mask off those edges, making it nice and clean. So what I like to recommend for folks who don't like a huge mess is to work inside of a tray. Okay, so place your watercolor paper just down like that, and you'll want to mask off those 4 sides of your paper, and then mask off however many compartments you'd like to create for your card. So here I'm doing the outside, leaving a bit of a border. And then I might go down This is a smaller piece of watercolor just for the purposes of this demo. Okay, and one right down the middle. Because when this is done, this is going to make 3 cards in total. So what you'll do is you will want to wet your whole paper. This is a wet on wet technique. So you're wetting the whole page. Okay, and then you're taking those liquid watercolors. So here are my favorites. These are Sargent Art brand. But you can also use watered down food coloring. You can use the palette style watercolors. It doesn't really matter. And this is the fun part where you get to watch those colors dance. I always tell the kids, watch how those colors dance. And so you'll just add a few little drops of color, give your brush a little bath, and you'll see, you can start to see the colors kind of move around a little bit, not dancing as much as they normally do. Okay, and finally, another little splash of orange. We've got some with sparkles, some without sparkles. But here's where the magic comes in, where all the kids love to see this part, where you sprinkle just a little wee bit of table salt over top. And can you see that special effect that's starting to happen? You can kind of see that the watercolor kind of spread around, move around a little bit. So once you allow that to sort of dry, it'll look like something like this. Okay, you'll take off the tape. You'll want to make sure that it's nice and dry. You'll take off the tape and it'll look like this. Okay, and this is where I kind of go ahead and I cut them out. And so you'll have a whole bunch of these little tiny watercolor cards. And like I said, it's nice if you can layer it on top of a little bit of cardstock, like so. Just a little bit of glue. Okay, and then on again onto a little piece of watercolor card. Okay, so it's layer upon layer. Again, this is really going that extra step. And then if you do have a little bit of jute or yarn and a twig, you can kind of go ahead and tie that up and make sure your child writes that message of gratitude inside. Or it could be a gift of a set of cards that you've made for somebody or she's made for somebody. And what's really special is if he or she can sign their name down below here and date it, because it makes a really lovely memento. So I'll be posting the printables that I shared, the joy sheets that I shared, the book list that I shared in today's pop-up workshop with you down below in the comments. So be sure to check that out as soon as this video is uploaded. And feel free to download all of those component pieces to explore some of these fun projects with your own children. Now, if you loved what you saw, I would love to welcome you to Inspired at Home. It's a play-based enrichment style live teaching classes for children ages 4 through 7. And we meet once a week live on Zoom. If you can't attend live, those recordings are always posted up to the platform so you can catch them later. And it's really interactive, it's very engaging, and it's equal parts teacher directed, sort of literacy and math learning, along with these fun guided invitations to create. So we go a little slower, we do step by step, I guide your children, you get a bit of a break, your children listen, they have fun. And then, like I said, you're provided with all of the joy sheets that you need to do this activity at home. And I take your children through a really fun circle time and morning meeting that includes songs and poems and rhymes, some puppet stuff. And it's a lot of fun. So you can check it out at artfulteachingjoyfullearning.com/inspired-at-home. And this is a monthly membership. You can cancel anytime. There's no long-term commitments. And we just have a whole lot of fun. And finally, if you are not on the wait list for the curriculum that opens up again in January, please be sure to go get your name on the wait list. It's artfulteachingjoyfullearning.com/homeschool-curriculum. And if your name is on the wait list, you'll be the first to know when doors open. I am so excited to welcome our newest cohort in early January. And And to get started again, if you're looking for a bit of a homeschool reset or you're looking for something new to try, I'd love to welcome you in January. So thank you so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate you joining me today. And stay tuned for those printables, those joy sheets that'll be coming in just a few moments. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.